Today we are going to talk about breakpoints. Essentially, a breakpoint is when your fast move deals one more damage per attack. Okay, so let's take one of my Pokemon. Let me double check really fast. I will take Gyarados. My Gyarados has Bite as its fast attack. Its attack IV is a 12. So this is going to be very important. This is basically the information that you need to know. He is also currently at level 33. So if we were to look up Gyarados with Bite, we know that he has a 12 attack and he's currently at level 33. So let's take a raid boss, because every breakpoint is going to be different depending on what Pokemon you're going up against. So let's say we're going up against Mewtwo, and Mewtwo has, that's fine. We're going to say there's no weather boost. So as you can see, this large chart right here. Now I know this is going to look extremely confusing, but it's relatively easy once you know what you're looking at. Okay, so at the top we have our IVs, and on the sides we have our levels. So if we go up to level 33 for my Gyarados with an attack stat of 12, that brings us to 33 and 12. It looks like he will do 6 points of damage for every bite that he gets off against Mewtwo. Now, the important thing to note about a breakpoint is that basically it's going to tell you how far you need to power up that Pokemon. Because as you can see, my 12, if I level him all the way up to level 40, my 12 is still only going to do 6 points of damage. So the Stardust cost and the candy cost right here is a lot. Okay? And if this is going to cost me a lot of Stardust and a lot of candies for 0 change between my damage output, then this becomes very pointless. I don't want to do this. Okay? So, let's use another example really fast. Let's do this Machamp. So this Machamp is max level for me with 2 fighting moves. Okay? So we are looking at, with a 14 attack, he is level 35. We are looking at counter for our fast move. So we have a 14 IV there, and we are level 35. And we're still going to go up against the Mewtwo for one simple reason. We're going to change Mewtwo in a second. So as you can see here, my counter at 14 IV, if I am level 35, it's going to do 7 damage. Now as you can see on the chart, if I power him up any further, if I go all the way to level 40, it's still going to be 7. And the Stardust cost and the candy cost between 35 and 40 is going to be a lot. So we don't want that. This becomes pointless. This is as strong as my Machamp will ever need to be to go up against Mewtwo. Okay? So now let's look at a different raid boss. Let's look at, let's say Claydol. Okay, so Claydol, as you can see, counter at level 35 is going to do 6 damage at both 35 and at level 40. So again, this would be pointless for me to power him up. Now, let me do one more example. And this time, we're going to choose a low attack IV. So this has an attack IV of 5. So if we go back and we look at our Claydol, so let me double check really fast. 28. So at level 28, you can see that my 5 IV goes all the way down here, and it does a whopping 5 damage. Yay. Now, if I were to power him up all the way to level 40, I could achieve 6 damage. But do you see what the situation is here? Whenever you hit level... This is really hard to do on a phone. Level 32.5, you're also going to be able to do 6. Okay? So now this Machamp, even though he only has a 5 IV on his attack stat, he can still achieve 6 damage on his counter. He will just get to that 6 damage a lot later than, let's say, a 15 attack. So let's draw this out, and let's say we are comparing ourselves to a 15 attack. Okay? So at level 28, 15 attack still gets you 5 damage. But at level 29, you actually end up hitting 6 damage. So do you see the difference between leveling up my Machamp at level, or at a 5 IV will cost significantly more to get from 28 to 32.5 than it would for me to get, obviously, from 28 to 29. This would cost me 2 power-ups. This would cost me almost 10 times power-ups. I would have to click this button at least 10 times to power him up. And at 4,500 a piece, and I know it's going to go up at level 30, I think it goes up. That's at least 45,000 Stardust. To do it here, 9,000. So breakpoints are very important because you can save tons of Stardust and tons of candies by not having to level up as far. Okay? All of these numbers change every single raid boss that you're going up against. What I encourage you to do is to go through and look at just a couple of your Pokemon. Now, what I personally think would be my best bet, if it was me personally, I would take the most difficult raid boss and I would try to set up a team for that raid boss. And then I would try to look at the breakpoints for each Pokemon. So let's talk about Mewtwo. Since he is our legendary right now, we're going to look at Mewtwo is Psychic, which is weak to Ghost, Dark, and Bug. So, look at your options for your ghosts. Your ghost attackers. Gengar. Alakazam. Look at your dark attackers. Titar. Houndoom. Then look at your bug attackers. Pinsir. Scizor. Heracross. I don't even know what Heracross's moveset is. He probably isn't even a good bug attacker. But anyways, so let's say you have a few of these, a few of these, a few of these, and a few of these, and a few of these, and a few of these. Okay? Or let's just say you have one of each. However you want to look at this. So if you have one of each, you, as a player, can go through and look at your level, your move, whether it's whatever your fast move is, and then your attack, IV, and then you can determine what level you need to get to maximize your damage for that raid boss, for this Mewtwo. So then you can have a full-fledged team of attackers that is your best bet against a raid boss. So that means that you wouldn't have any more that you could output during that raid. And I think that's pretty valuable information because whenever you get to, if you want to start soloing level 2s or trying to solo level 3s, because you can solo level 3s. They become very difficult, but you can. Once you figure out what your breakpoints are for your Pokemon, your soloing will become so much more easier, because you'll know, based on your damage output, based on all of your stuff, you can determine if it's possible or not. It will take you a small sit-down session to look through your Pokemon and do this so that you can figure it out. But once you get it, it's very valuable. It's a very valuable piece of information. So I do apologize about today's content. It is a little different. We celebrated my almost-to-be brother-in-law's 21st birthday today. So I didn't have a whole lot of out time, which turned out to be okay. I did need kind of a break. So this type of video is very nice. I do have a few more topics to talk about. Breakpoints is a big one, so I wanted to start with it. It is very complicated. If you watch the video once or twice, hopefully you can get the grasp of it. I would be happy to explain it in the comments if you need help. I will throw a couple of links up down in the description. These two resources are going to be very well. This guide may explain it a little bit better. If you have an easier time reading information rather than hearing the information, it would be very beneficial for you to read this guide. It's only like 3 sections long. It literally takes you like 5 minutes. It's extremely quick. They use Raikou as their example. Raikou is a pretty good example because of his moveset. He has a fast move that is clearly better one over the other, so it makes it really easy to understand using Raikou for their scenario. So I definitely encourage you to read it, to go through and just check out a couple of your Pokemon to see what kind of breakpoints you have, because every single Pokemon is going to be different. That attack IV changing over the course of catching different Pokemon and, you know, powering up Pokemon and stuff, that attack IV is going to be the most important thing when calculating your breakpoint. So, again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. I'll try to answer the best I can. I am still kind of trying to learn as much as I can about breakpoints. Maybe one day this week we will talk about bulk points, because that is another topic, and go over that. And I also want to do a little bit about gym defending and stuff like that, just some kind of helpful tips for what to do in certain scenarios, what you should prioritize placing, how you should try to, like, whatever your main goal is for that gym, what to place in it. So as always, thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Hopefully I will see you guys back tomorrow. If you guys want to subscribe, I highly discourage it because I suck. But thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you guys tomorrow.